your channel.
Hat, then is it? Goofy M81.
At least I don't look like a gay lumberjack to us.
Yep. You see, you don't get it. You're gonna be looking
User
for
joined your
gay
channel.
guys.
User joined your channel. User joined your channel.
Hey, Walker.
What's up, bro?
Dude, I'm gonna have to face like this because I only have my headphone on one ear.
User left your channel.
Man, look at what all these chairs have for us.
Probably know, right? Take off the headset too, bro.
No, I think I need the headset because
so you can
maybe it might enhance my hearing or.
User joined your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Stop!
User joined your channel.
Stop deleting my shit.
Is it better?
Charles, you're gonna be the reason why AFSOC, JSOC don't get
Hold on, I
Zeus
got
anymore
this.
in missions if you keep that up.
Bruh, I'm only putting character decorations. Leave me alone.
They still get Zeus submissions.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Hey, you're a fucking bum.
Yeah, it's too bad Worthen had to sit in front of us. I can't see anything.
Shut your fat ass up. I was here first.
So fast.
How close we gotta get to these things to see them?
You don't like the view change.
Just zoom in.
You make a better door than you do a window.
Oh,
door.
they have a triples
out
Yeah, there's our fuck trio right here.
They'd be running trains in the barracks.
Oh, I want.
Yeah.
User joined your channel. User joined your channel.
Right here to my left.
Who gets
Hey,
dominated out of
felons,
the group?
turn that thing on
Hey, I
and
like
plug
your
it in while
shoes.
you're at it.
I'll try.
That's a lot of paperwork.
Bro, those Air
Zoom
Forces
in on
were
it if you
those.
can't see it.
I don't know.
I still can't see it.
You have to like walk up.
Get 20/20 vision.
User left.
Okay.
User joined your channel.
Bro,
I work for an
optical
surgeon,
actually.
I can definitely get that.
The diabetes shoes.
Heck yeah, brother.
Your binoculars. You've seen Sicario, right, Russ?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but them shoes though, man.
I
Diabetic
still can't
shoes.
see it.
Got the diabetic shoes, the $20 shoes.
Christ.
Hey, for all those that are fucking stupid, I'm going to stream in Discord.
If you cannot see it, make sure you have VIP on.
I don't have on Pip-Boy.
Yeah, talk to your Vault-Tec resident for that.
Use
User
that.
joined your
You need
channel.
VIP on to be able to see these.
My collector's edition didn't come yet. Still waiting for that canvas.
That's a better post.
I still got the fucking this bag. I forgot about that.
Like we're waiting on a few.
There are two different black on the screen.
Oh fuck.
User
Sorry.
left your channel.
I'll wait for the last few.
User joined your channel.
Hey Gonzo, how's that lollipop taste?
That was gay.
Used to have a lemon flavor.
That's not lemon.
You know how many licks it takes to
User
get to
joined
the
your
center?
channel. User left your
how many
channel.
licks, definitely just one bite.
Depends on how you ask.
I believe our lovely scientists over at Harvard came to the conclusion it takes on average 375. Thanks, nerd. Listen, the robot
Way to
they
ruin
made,
the joke,
I'm
then.
just saying the robot they made looks mighty suspicious.
Get him out of here.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Leave your all ass in the battle to die.
It's okay. I'll help.
No, what'd you change?
I got embarrassed.
Desert Tigers. I swear, you look at everybody else and say, what camo's nobody else wearing? You put that on, Genovic.
Hey, Master.
Just to be special.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, because I'm special.
Oh, your mom told you?
I didn't want to
User
say
joined your
nothing,
channel.
I need you in my right ear if you're gonna talk to me.
Not talking to you.
You missed my joke. My joke was like, I can only listen like this.
Oh, I'm
This is-
sorry. I need you in my left ear if you're gonna talk to me. I can't hear you.
Yeah, speak with your chest. Damn.
It's to protect my neck. It's quite sensitive to the sun.
You missed the joke.
We're inside a
I
hangar.
have to face like this
Alright.
here.
This one does.
Okay, fucking.
Because it's hot.
It's like 80 degrees.
Exactly. All the sweat just gets soaked in.
See, only if y'all were like, I sweat 24/7.
You're black, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Out here looking like you just came in from working the
Yeah.
fields.
I did, bro.
User joined your channel.
Hold up. Hold up.
So you might want to start that.
Yeah. Okay.
User joined your
All right, boys.
channel.
All right.
I'm recording.
Alright, cool. All right, boys. Welcome to Operation Bulwark, or Bulwark, whatever you want to call it. So let's just jump right into it. So for a situational overview, as you can see in the deployment updates within the actual channel, recent weeks kind of had terrorist attacks within Estonia and it's kind of threatened domestic and global security. Most recently, with the capture of a U.S. diplomat, his name is Richard Graham. Engrave that into your minds. And as well with the deaths of 5 other American investors. They were part of the Goldman Sachs firm. Group claiming responsibility for the capture of Richard Graham is, their name happens to be Jormungandr. If you know Norse mythology, that is the big ass world snake, I believe. They're structured anarchist movement fighting to kind of dismantle post-colonialism and natural resource exploitation within Estonia. While the group claiming the execution of the investors is named the Green Coalition. Fucking ruthless. They got similar ideology to Jormungandr, but can be categorized as imperialist. At present, Estonian armed forces and the Estonian government are unable to contain the situation. So, to protect U.S. interests, TFE is being deployed to Estonia to combat Jormungandr and the Green Coalition, investigate their movements, and eliminate the threat of expansion. Take a look at our operational overview. A second.
User in your channel timed out.
Zoom in on it if you
User
need to.
left your channel.
Cool. There. Okay.
User joined your channel.
Well, easy peasy. This little map of Estonia. They got about 1.3 in their pop. They have very few towns and cities that are, heavily urbanized. But then again, they are spread out. A lot of rural villages, anything of the sort. So this is, prime breeding ground for these guys because they're able to go to and from areas without being noticed for both factions. Their president name is Alarkaris and prime minister is Kaja Kallas.
User joined your channel.
We came in contact with prime minister Kaja a week before. I believe some of our MARSOC guys have
User
come
joined
in
your
contact
channel.
with him through a connected line. Estonia is part of NATO, right between Finland, Russia, and Latvia, if you didn't know your geography. It's kind of have a predominant industry of a lot of industrial sectors with oil, cobalt, and lithium. Increases, over the years. They have become quite rampant with their, at least what the factions call exploitation. Let's look at our boys in play. So some of the factions we have in play other than are 2. We have Jormungandr, the Green Coalition. We have the Sons of Kalev and Kappa. We'll get into those here soon. Pull up this for overview for Jormungandr. Wrong one. There you go. Cool. Jormungandr can categorize as more or less a paramilitary, but then again, they are still in their infancy, so it is considered an insurgency. They originate from the Polva province. It's pretty highly industrial. They have quite literally only monopolized their sector as mineral extraction. Within this kind of region, they kind of emerged over kind of a period of economic instability later in the previous years. And from what Estonia can also cause what would be called major government overreach. So we believe that's what sparked them. They kind of draw their ideology inspiration from modern grievances, such as kind of like land exploitation, sorry, cultural genocide, forced migration, any kind of foreign corporate intervention. It was also founded by an ex-Norwegian officer named Jorgen Asing. We'll get into him soon. Along with a group of former Estonian officers who kind of felt a little bit marginalized by post-Soviet Estonia. As you know, Estonia also used to be a part of the Soviet Union. They kind of see themselves more than less like as a guardian to Estonia. They kind of want to restore the nation's glory and their kind of autonomy, mainly because there's a lot of foreign interest invested into Estonia. So they're trying to release that kind of grasp. Even though from that foreign influence, even if it's from east or west,
channel timed out.
The group kind of employs some tactics, i.e. cyber espionage, guerrilla warfare. They use this while using their, pretty vast knowledge of military tactics gained from their, mainly their ranks of ex-military. They also have
User joined your channel.
Pretty decent equipment. We're not sure exactly where it's coming from. They might be pretty resourceful, might have some links, not sure. But at this point, for their equipment, they are categorized as paramilitarized. They're pretty dangerous. They target both domestic institutions that they kind of seem traitorous. Anyone that deals with anything that has to give up Estonian land, they'll more than likely attack or do any kind of intervention on. And also international entities, they also view as invaders. So anybody foreign, they fucking hate. Let me put up green. Goes to 5. Green Coalition. See if you can. Cool. They were founded, we believe, at least around 2012, but we'll call it the 2010s. They're pretty radical environmentalist. They have mainly roots around Estonia, but they claim it as their own. They claim it as their right for right now, but at least from last what they've said to their claims on it. The groups kind of stem from just their country being ripped away from them as their own possessions. It's pretty similar to Jormungandr for their ideology, but with the adage that they would like to, take over the country and the ones around them. It's rather than to make the change for themselves from what Jormungandr wants to do. The group is a lot less militarized from Jormungandr, but they're more chaotic, more ruthless. They'll do things more sporadically, and they'll do things you don't think
User
they'll do.
disconnected from your channel.
Then again, they're also pretty similar in the way that they do their operations from Jormungandr or to Jormungandr. They do cyber attacks on mainly corporations, direct actions on anybody that they deem as hostile. Government institutions they'll also attack. Again, they've also claimed responsibility for multiple sabotaging or multiple instances of oil pipelines being sabotaged. They raid test sites, and obviously, as we know, they have assassinated our own American investors. So obviously, they don't like to play nice. They also don't like to play nice with Jormungandr. These two do not like each other. We have found that out via some of our boys that are already in country. If you take a look around you, our boys from the 75th are not here. That's because they've already deployed in. So once you do get in, you will be contacting them via lines, and they will help you out anyway from any kind of intel that they have found. We put on Clev. I'm on 6 over. Yep, 6. The Clev. These boys are like vigilantes. They kind of sprouted, obviously, to the response of these groups, popping up over the years. Not sure who exactly founded them, but they kind of seem more or less like a big-ass ragtag pops of guys. They don't have very much equipment, but then again, they will defend their own lands. Some of them that we have come into contact with have been farmers, landowners, anybody that they really take in or at least find to not really like Jormungandr or Green Coalition. They're usually categorized. One moment. They're usually categorized under vigilante subgroup. They do a lot of confrontations. I'm sorry, not a lot of They don't do a lot of confrontations from to Jormungandr and the Green Coalition, and mainly because they are not very well equipped. They are not very well trained, but they still do have that fighting spirit to at least defend their own country from what they think is really foreign invaders, even though they're not really foreign. But then again, they don't share the same ideals as a true Estonian civilian. Sons of Kalev, they do a lot of surveillance, any kind of counterintelligence. They at least try to implement to the two factions. So for the people who are, or at least for the detachment who's going to be at least getting in contact with these guys, you could at least use that to your advantage. Pull up our capos. All right, Estonian government, or at least the main front that they use is capo, or try to pronounce it correctly. Wrong one. Kaitse Polici, or capo. You can just call them capo. They are the state police or state government. They take a lot of inspiration from the KGB, from the Soviet Union. So its purpose is really centered on, reinforcing kind of order, internal security services. They do have a primary investigative jurisdiction, and so they do a lot of intelligence across the actual country. And then again, they've been tracking this threat for quite some time. It's just grown out of their control at this point. They're doing what they can. We've already gotten contact with some of the leaders, and it isn't looking too good for them. Some of this stuff they do, or at least try to go against, countering terrorism, obviously. Crimes against humanity, peace, war crimes, legal handling, trafficking, any kind of contraband, firearms, ammunition, explosives, any kind of other strategic materials. They usually like to counteract and more than likely get their hands on it, other than the actual OPFOR get their hands on it. They do a lot of counterintelligence duties. They do film. We have had some tasking for them that they have already informed, and we'll get that counterintelligence up for you here in the next few days. I think that's good on them. If you haven't already seen, no, not it. That's it. If you already haven't seen, this is some of the pre-relevant imagery for our brief. As you can see, we had a mass shooting. Tardieu, we believe that was also done by the Green Coalition. They have taken blame for it. Let's do 8. We have that. One of the bigger ones attacking a lot of the Estonian industrial sectors. Phosphorite storage. They have attacked other storage facilities like this one, i.e. material storages. They have attacked fracking compounds, anything of the sort that they deem as in dripping resources from Estonia, they'll attack. Move on. So here's some operational mapping for what you guys will be on. On my right, Sumava, I do believe one of the debts, it's going to be DEVGRU is going to be on Sumava. DEVGRU, ODA, and RRC. RRC is already on Sumava. ODA will also be on Sumava. MARSOC, you will be on Corsac, to my left. Or it's technically to my right here, but...
You have them backwards, the maps.
What? I don't. Do I?
Yes.
I got it backwards. We'll find them out whenever we get to them. Moving on. I value targets. We'll start with our Jormungandr guy. So. Cool. Jorgen Asen. Obviously know he was Norwegian. Yeah, he was Norwegian. He was dishonorably discharged for publicly kind of shaming many of the policies shared by the Norwegian government. Then he took up civilian ship within Estonia, kind of grew close to it. And after everything he's been seeing and having to deal with, especially from his ideals that he shares, especially with some of the groups, he has took it upon his hands to form Jormungandr, and it has quite literally snowballed to what it is today. Mr. Aline, I'm not sure how to say that last name, but Mr. Aline, obviously he's one of the founders of the Green Coalition. He was a peaceful man, believe it or not. However, whenever those peaceful actions not shown effect, he got a little bit more violent, and he found people like him and that shared those exact same sentiments. So obviously the people he has with him are a violent bunch, and then again, quite dangerous. It goes on. Oh. Yep. All right, operational objectives. RC already has theirs out. ODA, obviously you're going to be working with that force of Sons of Kalev a little bit more than usual than the other detachments. One, you are to assist them in any kind of operational capacity, expand them, so i.e. weapons, training, anything of the sort that you can find that they need help on, do it. Once you're with that, you're going to counter any and all terrorist faction related activity, and you're going to do that with Sons of Kalev. They will be your partner force that you'll be working hand in hand with. Use them as cannon fodder, use them as however you like. But at this point, we're going to have to say, we're going to have to work them up as best as we can. We're going to leave that up to you guys. MARSOC, finding and securing Richard Graham. We tried to go and save him last week. Unfortunately, he got shipped off to who knows where. But right now, we're going to see if we can get our bearings on him, see if we can find him, because time is of the essence. Going to halt any kind of expansion of the Green Coalition. Obviously, we know they are expanding quite rapidly, including outside of Estonia. So therefore, we're going to try our best to halt that. We're going to be at least confronting a Green Coalition mainly. We might run into Jormungandr at least a little bit later on. But for right now, Green Coalition is going to be our main focus. Last, obviously, operational objective, we're going to be cutting off the head. Alina, we're going to be cutting him. So that's essentially going to be your shit. You're going to be putting a bullet between this guy's face.
Yeah, right.
DEVGRU. We're going to be dismantling, obviously, Jormungandr's chain of command. They're a little bit more organized, and so therefore, you'll have the opportunity to go through and eliminate their actual COC. From there, at the end, you're going to be killing Jorgen, as well as preventing them from operating any kind of further in Estonia.
Check.
So, yep. Sound good? Cool. And, yep. Be in for us. Any other additional questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yep.
So, is there any friction between COP and the Sons of Kalev? Any friction between the two, like with us working with the Sons of Kalev?
Sorry, you're gonna have to speak up.
Yeah, I'll go close.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so is there any friction between that, government or police force of COPA against with Sons of Kalev? Is there any friction just due to Sons of Kalev being a vigilante force? Like, does COPA have a problem with us working with the Sons of Kalev?
They shouldn't have a problem, and if they do, then we'll definitely talk to them. Then again, we're here to save their country, and since they can't do it, there is at least some sort of disgruntlement between the two. Obviously, COPA is there for the keeping of peace, and whenever they have a vigilantes group running around, then obviously their jimmies are going to get a little bit rustled. But at this point, they have really no choice but to like it.
Okay.
Question.
Yep.
How deep does the FS have their fingers in this?
They don't.
They don't.
Yes.
Okay. Can we get a confirmation on the maps these detachments gonna be on?
Yep, copy.
I have a question as well.
Yep.
Are we walking into a multi-tier civil war between these different groups, including the Russians?
Russians haven't been disgruntled yet. We don't think that they will come into play. It definitely could spiral into a multi-tiered civil war, but we're here to stop that and stop the country from ripping itself apart.
Okay.
Baron, question.
Go ahead, Baron.
Do we have a identification with it, like a SOP, pretty much, like or an ROE regarding what's on the ground right now?
As in civilian wise, or are we talking about Op4 wise?
Both.
Okay. Obviously hasn't been announced with through the government, obviously, to its civilians, because one, most, if not
User
anybody,
joined your
wouldn't like
channel.
another country operating in their own, on their own soil. So they have not informed their civilians. So if you do come into contact with civilians, you are to not, don't talk to them, don't speak to them, avoid them at all cost. Even if you do get in contact with them, tell them you're a fucking visitor or a tourist. Op4, that's completely up to you. It's really going to be if they're really hostile at you at this point and they know exactly who you are, then, you have full reign to open up depending on where you are, really. But that's really just a individual judgment that you're going to have to leave up to yourself. The only thing I will probably tell you, if it is in public and you see some sort of activity going on, more than likely I would not try to disturb the peace, i.e. not try to cause any kind of, I say this.
So you're saying there's ethnic cleansing going on?
Say that one more time.
So you're actively saying there's ethnic cleansing going on?
I wouldn't say ethnic cleansing. I would not say ethnic cleansing. Attacks against an institution, if that's what you want to say, is going on, really. They don't really care, depending on really, if, let's say we're talking about Green Coalition, they don't care really who you are. If their ideals don't really match up with, or your ideals don't really match up with them, then you won't really have a really good time with them. It doesn't really matter if you're fucking Belarusian, fucking Finnish, American, German, Russian. If your ideals line up with them, you're good in their books.
All right, who?
I got Martinez got an expanse on
that. Send it.
What's our relationship to the Estonian government in regards to allocation of airspace and their allotment of us dropping munitions on Estonian soil?
It would have to be cleared through a secured line that we've already
User
made
left your channel.
with the Estonian government. As long as it's not, it should be, as long as it's not going to jeopardize civilian lives, then we should honestly be clear.
Okay.
The goal, gentlemen, the goal here is not to destroy any civilian infrastructure. Obviously, this is people's homes, and more so, as it being a NATO country, we don't want to be killing fellow alliance members. Native population. So things out in like forests and open fields, obviously we're going to be a lot more free reign on, but when it comes to urban environments, it's going to be a lot more strict than we're used to because this is a NATO member. So just keep that in mind. Pretty much the ROE for explosives is going to be like 0 to none within towns unless previously authorized.
One quick question also.
Senator.
Or like to go back on one of the other slides, going back on Sons of Kalev. You said that they don't have any intentions of protecting the country, or they don't share the same beliefs as the citizens, right?
Negative. They do share the same sentiment as the citizens. Citizens
they
also.
do? Okay.
Yes, they do.
The Sons of Kalev are here. Make it easier. The Sons of Kalev are like the farmers. They're sick and tired of the fighting going on between the Jormungandr and the Green Coalition, and because the government is preoccupied with their borders right now with Russia, trying to just keep that security up because of the war in Ukraine right now, the Sons of Kalev have stepped up to be that kind of faction to try and take back their home. So they're going to be just as friendly with the civilian population, trying to work with them to get through and get these factions out of here.
Okay, gotcha.
Got a question here.
Senator, come up front real quick.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Outside of U.S. activities inside of Estonia, do we have any information on any other members of NATO going to be participating in the operations, or any outside influences will be trying to take advantage of the situation? i.e. Russia or...
as of this instance, very isolated, or was an isolated instance with Finland. They have investigated the matter and they have deemed it mainly not really a factor to them. They have basically bigger fish to fry. That's the only real instance within Finland, but there has not been any at this moment, any others at this moment. It definitely could be a possibility, but then again, it's highly unlikely another instance is going to happen like that.
All right.
Cool.
I got a question, if you don't mind.
Yep. One moment. I have Warden. Warden, go ahead.
So, what are we operating out of any kind of base, or are we going to be mostly safe houses?
That is per detachment. For right now, we do believe we're tracking RRC. They are jumping from safe houses. Safe houses, they did have to infiltrate via border. They were not flown in. They were, I think they became undercover and went in via safe house and set that up from there. It is up to your detachments to get in country. We'll provide that transport into, but once you're in, you are more than likely on your own until you establish contact with other factions such as Capo and Sons of Kalev. From there, you would more than likely going to need to set up safe houses or any kind of base of operations that you want to do for yourself. But from there, we will not be operating out of, for example, airports or anything of the sort.
Okay,
it's all gonna be up to you.
With that follow-up question, will we have access for Casvax and Medivacs to access the hospitals there? Are we gonna be below?
Want to take the chance and drive to a hospital? You're really going to be on your own at this point until we are able to actually establish more lines, i.e. More drops, i.e. from, for example, we can have medical cargo drop out to you, things of the sort. At this point, we'd have to get those lines established. Until then, you really got the hospitals around you.
Got it. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question to that as well. Are we probably, or primarily rather, going to be working out of patrol bases and hasty kind of established areas, or are we working out of FOBs and cops?
Again,
that's on the per detachment basis, like you said.
Per detachment.
Yeah,
So,
specifically for MARSOC, what would that look like for us? Just so I can pass it down.
that should be a leadership decision for FOBs, unless you're able to come together with one and have, i.e., we can have some CIA personnel come out and assist in constructing one. But then again, you are to at least try to lay low so that you aren't at least comped by Jormungandr or Green Coalition. So I would definitely stick to safe houses. I wouldn't say hasty as long as you got a good one. But then again, the ultimate goal is to not really be comped in a big ass fob. I believe you're going to get spotted pretty quickly because these guys are all over the place. They spread their thick little roots all across Estonia.
Yeah.
Someone had a question on the left side here.
I think it was Martel. Right?
Martel.
Yep. Yeah, Martel.
Yep. Cinder.
What is the group that was responsible for the chemical attack in the news?
Talk about the attack on the chemical plant.
Yeah.
Oh, the phosphorus camp.
Yep.
Or fucking plant. I believe, what was that? Green?
Jormungandr.
Yorm? Okay, yep. Jormungandr.
So they're known to target infrastructure of the people they don't like. Is there any chance of them striking an infrastructure and blaming it on us once they're aware that we're here?
That is a high possibility. So that's a good point. That more than likely give you more inspiration to stay uncompromised. So yes, that is a high probability that that could be a false flag, and you can more than likely be ousted by the local civilian population.
Hey, where than your hot mic about, by the way?
So another question on Sons of Kalev. How vetted are these guys? So my fear is that, you know, of course, later down the line in ODA, we do have to arm these guys and train them and take them to the fight. But what's the fear of them, you know, somehow turning on its government and turning into another enemy faction?
Most Sons of Club members have already been like hit hard by these two factions operating. Either that be whether or not from their terrorist activities or just you know, their just general activities that they've handled.
User left your channel.
RRC has made contact with them and was prepping them for ODA arrival. From what they could tell, looks to be they should be fine to work with. We shouldn't see any problems within the future of them trying to turn sides or anything like that.
No insider threats, got it.
Question here.
So,
Kaita Polizei, they're aware that we're going to be in country, and if so, we're going to be working with them?
correct. The government is aware that we will be entering country. They are also aware that we're not able to take any kind of like major way to go in, i.e. be spotted by kind of like any kind of civilians like, hey, these guys are fucking Americans. So yeah, they're pretty aware at this point. They've already given us the go-ahead to get boots on the ground and start operating.
Okay, can we expect any sort of support from them in an operational basis?
Yep, we've already established some lines. We can also establish additional ones to provide any kind of additional support, i.e. we can use them as blocking forces, counterintelligence, surveillance. We can use them as such as we deem necessary. We have quickly been handed the keys to the castle by the Estonian government.
Golden.
I have a follow-up question for that as well. Has our embassy to this country, since it is a NATO country, been evacuated, or are we still expecting embassy members of American descent inside of the country?
Their embassy is still active, that is one of our main lines that we have used through embassy members. It has been attacked once before, but we have also fended off that attack before. We have, I think, a platoon of Marines stationed, if I'm looking at my notes right. If assisting is needed, then obviously we will go and evacuate these boys. But at this point, there hasn't been any major major threat to where that we believe that we need to cut off that line of communication with Estonia to where we need to evacuate our boys. But that embassy is essentially our little lifeline towards Estonia.
Okay. Janovic with a question.
Xander.
Hey, so obviously you just answered no large NEO is happening, but in case of having to evac U.S. MIL or non-U.S. MIL but U.S. citizen, got this Graham guy. Do we have support of local facilities or no?
Depending on the local facilities you're talking about.
Hospitals.
Hospitals, yes, we do.
Roger. Okay, and we're to go in low pro?
Correct.
Cool.
Got a question.
No, go ahead.
A question. I'm from Berezne. I'm watching the Discord feed.
Copy.
Is there any commander's critical information requirements that is necessary for us to send up as we're going through ops here? So like things that are going to drive not just ODAs or MARSOCs or produce information, but just in general for the overall operation that you guys need to know that's outside just those two high value individuals?
Like, for example, are you talking about if you get more or less like intel, for example?
Sure.
That would
Yep,
affect
exactly.
others? Yeah, definitely send it up to your command as well. I believe each detachment does have some sort of intelligence guy. I'm not exactly sure what they're all called.
Okay. But there's nothing in particular for the overall operation that you guys have identified, like, yeah, I need to know this right out the gate.
Anything that I believe we've already covered.
Okay.
Should be our need to know. So.
Yeah, we'll be monitoring all intel that you guys receive, especially myself. I put in a post in the intel chat. We got our Miro board as well as a couple new intel tools. So I'll be keeping track of everything you guys receive, and if anything piques our interest, so like, hey, what the hell is this? What's going on here? We'll definitely send it down the chain. Like, hey, we need you guys to investigate this more.
Okay, thank you.
Marcel.
One last thing, if it's all right.
Yeah.
Since Estonia's in NATO, there's a standing NATO task force as a deterrent in country. Do we know if they have any bases in RAO?
There is one NATO base, but that is, I believe. Hold on, let me pull this up. Site 3, I believe. Yeah, I think it's all the way to the western side of Estonia, and we're not anywhere near contact with that said base. I believe they're hundreds of miles out westward from where we'd be operating. So it's more than likely not going to be a factor. Copy?
Yep.
Cool.
Keegan again. I have one additional question. Do we have any anticipation of foreign aid to the enemy with any vehicles or heavy armor, anything like that? Or are we expecting kind of that civilian style, technical and lower?
So for example, Jormungandr, 4. So Jormungandr, for example, is a little bit more militarized. We're not exactly sure where they're getting it from. Then again, they could just be getting money. They could just be getting actual equipment straight up out of bulk, or they could be, finding it or hitting like areas and collecting it from there. Then again, these guys, a lot of ex-military fill their ranks. It doesn't really. We don't really know exactly where it's coming from. But then again, these dudes do have, like, for example, Urals. They do have, for example, I think.
There's a ZU-23 on the back of the there.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Eastern Bloc kind of styles going on there.
Yeah.
This probably will find a lot of more Eastern Bloc, a lot of stuff. I mean, you can travel westward up until fucking East Germany, and then you'll still find a lot more Eastern Bloc shit.
Yeah.
So
they are known to have some NATO equipment too, though. We've already seen HKs used by some of the members. So
they might. We haven't had many reports unless they've been unreported. But they might just be raiding armories, gun stores, shit like that.
Black market.
Yeah, I really wouldn't. I wouldn't disregard anything that these guys could do to get their hands on this shit, though.
Yeah, and I do have one follow-up question to that. You did notate a previous kind of counterintelligence aspect of it. Should we expect any decrease in communication or jamming of radios, jamming of ATACs, anything like that?
We haven't really came into contact, more as we've been to at least false information whenever we've had to have. We've tried to at least infiltrate, at least CIA operatives have tried to infiltrate, for example. Jormungandr, they were picked out pretty fucking quickly, and they were just fed false information. That's the kind of counterintelligence I was referencing.
Yeah, thank you.
Sit in the back of the question to kind of wrap this up. Just make sure how to stay at 11 where ROEs don't engage unless we're in imminent danger, and then does no explosives mean door poppers, stick charges, and hand grenades?
That was along the lines of like setting debt inside towns, using bombs, shit like that. Mark 19s.
Copy.
Obviously, small handheld ones are not causing enough collateral damage to structure.
Any more? All right, cool. I believe ODA stepping off into country tomorrow. So get your bags packed. MARSOC Sunday. DEVGRU obviously we got you Monday. So get your shit ready, get your P's and Q's, last minute, anything you need. As of right now, dismissed.
Uh,
Thank you, love you.
Whoever the intel guys are for your detachment,
User
if
left
they're
your
here,
channel.
let's get them up in the MI conference room, please.
User